Hey everyone, welcome to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. I'm Bobby Sylvester of the Fantasy Pros Football Podcast, and it's fantasy football playoff time, week 14. I've got 5 sleeper starts for you this week. Let's start up at number 5, where I've got quarterback of the Tennessee Titans, Ryan Tannehill. You can say Tannehill is playing over his head lately, but I'd say you're just not watching the tape, because he's been quite impressive. That has led to him scoring nearly 22 fantasy points per game since taking over under center 6 weeks ago, despite a number of challenging matchups. This week, he gets a Raiders secondary so bad that they've essentially turned the average quarterback they've faced this season into Russell Wilson from an efficiency standpoint. Seeing that Tannehill also runs the ball well, that gives him both a strong floor and high ceiling this week. At number 4, let's move on over to tight end, where I've got Mike Gesicki of the Miami Dolphins. The Jets have been among the toughest matchups versus tight ends over the last 2 years because they have Jamal Adams, who just locks down opposing tight ends. He's out this week though, along with half the Jets defense. In every game since Preston Williams was injured, Gesicki has at least 6 targets in each of the last 5 weeks and is second among tight ends in air yards during that time. That should translate nicely with Devontae Parker likely bracketed by the Jets. And at number 3, let's get to our first wide receiver. It's Anthony Miller of the Chicago Bears. You may look at the matchup versus the Cowboys and see a nightmare this week, but I see a great opportunity because of Miller's individual matchup. Much like Cole Beasley last week when he benefited from Byron Jones covering John Brown, Miller's going to see plenty of targets again because Jones is likely going to be all over Allen Robinson. Now that Miller's finally getting consistent snaps, he's seen 33 targets and 271 receiving yards in the past 3 weeks combined, and I expect that to keep up in week 14. At number 2, it's a running back, Jamal Williams of the Green Bay Packers. Since Williams came back in week 6 from his concussion, he has averaged 15 fantasy points per game. Folks, that's a top 12 fantasy running back over an 8-week period. Adding a terrific matchup this week against Washington, and I can't imagine benching him for a volatile starter like Carlos Hyde, Ronald Jones, or Tevin Coleman. And at number 1, it's back to the wide receiver position. I've got Kelvin Harmon of the Washington Redskins. This one might seem crazy to you all, and frankly, it's only for teams who are desperate for a wideout who's definitely available on waivers. Dwayne Haskins at quarterback certainly hurts Washington, but over the past 3 weeks, Harmon has more air yards than Michael Thomas, Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, and Devontae Adams. That means he's getting great opportunities downfield, and with an opportunity like that against a struggling secondary like the Green Bay Packers, he's actually a solid flex option for me this week. Alright guys, that's all for my top 5 sleeper starts for week 14. As always, make sure to let us know what you think in the comments section and like and subscribe for future content. Thanks for watching and enjoy your football.